Welcome to Taiwanica. If you're looking for a podcast that is fun, deep, and insightful about the cultures in Taiwan and the USA, you're in the right place. This power couple tells real-life stories and cold hard facts while bringing you chill vibes, funny jokes, and special points of view that you can't find anywhere else. Now, your hosts, Anita and Eric.
This is episode 31, talking about social class. Welcome to Taiwanica, where we use our differences to unite us. In this episode, we will be talking about what are the social classes look like in the US, and what does it look like in Taiwan, and how can you tell someone is really wealthy, and how can you tell someone is really poor? Welcome to Taiwanica again. I am one of the hosts. My name is Anita. I am the tutor on Amazing Talker / life coach / neuroscience nerd. Here with me today, another host of Taiwanica. Let's welcome the Erica.
Well, my name is Eric. Erica is not here today, so I'm replacing her.
Right.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for the great introduction, Anita.
You're welcome.
My name is Eric. I'm also a tutor on Amazing Talker, one of your hosts here on Taiwanica, as well as a meditation nerd / life coach.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so we have a very interesting topic for you today. With something similar to our social media. We're going into another social topic.
Class.
Yes, but today is going to get a little classy and not so classy.
Jeez.
Yeah, so...
a little bit too soon for your lame jokes.
Well, being a father and all,
geez.
you got
Here
to
we
put
go
in the
again.
dad puns. Any guy listening who's a dad totally gets it.
I don't think so.
There's probably not a lot of you listening, but, looking out to you guys. Okay. So, where are we going to start today, Anita?
First thing first, the social class, right? Basically, when we think about social class, it's like the thing, the scale, whatever you wanted to call it, to kind of separate people like who are from the high income family, who
Right.
are like have low income or middle class, things like that. They've always been a blurry line, I would say. Even though when we were a kid, we study like what is the social class pyramid kind of thing, but for me, that thing when we learned when we were a kid is no longer used in the modern time. A lot of things has changed.
A few things were outdated when we were in school.
Yeah, like when we were a kid, we learned, if someone has a phone, it must be come from a rich family. If my classmate,
they have a computer.
yeah,
Watch out.
Yeah, oh my God, it must be like the father must be a doctor or something like that.
Right.
But it's no longer like that because we talked about that. The social media, of course, meaning everybody's using phones. Like kids start using phone when they are really young. Things like this.
The definition of what you own.
longer.
Well, it does, but the objects are different these days. So, for example, car. Okay, so someone who is in a lower class may have a car that is not brand new. It's a secondhand car,
Yeah.
and it might have a few dents or a few cracks or
Scratch.
scratches.
The door will be missing.
Yeah, or, but some expensive cars also have missing doors for some reason. I don't know why. But on the other hand, if you look at someone who is quite wealthy, they'll have a really shiny, big car,
definitely.
like Anita's dream car, a Mercedes G540. If you know what that is, that's a nice car.
I think in Taiwan they call it 大 G.
大 G.
You cannot say G, say 居大 G.
Oh, 大 G.
Like big and
Like big
G-class.
orange.
No, like G class. Because that kind of series is called G class.
I see.
So
The
in
G is
Chinese,
G. Yeah,
it's
that makes
G.
sense.
IG.
IG.
Remember?
Yes, in the social media world. IG. Okay.
I mean, yeah, what you just mentioned is very, clear. Yeah, if we in Taiwan we see someone has BMW, Mercedes, must be in there from rich,
The high class.
Yeah, high class. But like the things that we have actually it's also a little bit different in the USA and in Taiwan, right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So can you tell us like what kind of things that you have in the USA means, ooh.
For high class.
That guy's rich.
Wealthy? Okay, sure. So in the USA, it's definitely similar to Taiwan when it comes to cars. But our cars aren't mainly focused on BMW. Anyone can get a BMW. Anyone can get an Audi.
I've seen that
in the USA. Yeah. Mainly because we just have a abundance of them of all different years. So you might see someone with a 2012 BMW, and it might not be in the greatest of shape, but but still people of the lower class can have it. On the other hand, if you are of a higher class, mainly you probably have the newest version, okay, or the electric version, something like this. But
More advanced.
right, or even higher class cars like Maserati or Porsche, stuff like this. But I think the biggest thing that we can tell that someone is of a higher class are a couple things. One, the way they dress.
Oh, I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah, people who are of higher class definitely keep themselves proper and clean. Their attire is straight, and very obviously that they know how to pamper themselves. And then there's the other hand, if there's also their houses, right? So if their house is huge, it's a good sign.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, for the, like you said, they always dress like properly. They're very care about how they dress themselves. In majority of people in the USA, I've noticed is like we worship like natural style. You just like being natural. So your hair usually just like, going natural in different ways. But those people, rich people, you can tell their hair is like well designed and styled, maintained, and they smell good.
Oh, they smell good. That's a key point. They smell good.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that's actually, there's a reason for that. And the reason people really like to keep themselves clean like that is because apparently it attracts more wealth to you.
Really?
So,
based on what? Science?
Just like the law of abundance. It's, if you want to be feel abundant, more abundance will attract to you, right? So so if you are constantly smelling good, looking good, doing things that make you feel that way, then of course more will come.
I see. Go take a shower, Eric. Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah, sure. So that's definitely one of the things for wealthy. But what about on the lower scale in Taiwan, Anita? Is there something that really signifies that this person is of a lower class?
One of our Buy Me a Coffee version episode, we mentioned about there was a newspaper say Taiwan is the richest country in Asia, right?
We did.
I'm telling you that it's very, very, very rare to see someone it's like considered quote unquote low income family or poor. When I was a kid, there are few, probably like 30% of the people. Maybe because of the city I'm from Taichung, so it's like the second biggest city in Taiwan.
But isn't it also like the wealthiest city in Taiwan?
Yeah, it's like the new wealth, the richest
new
city.
Rich, right?
New rich in before it was Taipei, of course. Now it's like
Taichung.
Taichung, yeah. So in Taichung, it's really, really, really hard to see someone is like in a really bad condition. Poor car or like homeless people. It's really rare.
Yeah.
But we've lived in Tainan for 2 years, right? We definitely see someone in like like homeless people and things like that.
Or people like some older women like amas or ayis who would be on really old scooters and dragging cardboard boxes on their scooter. Yeah.
So those are the people we consider as like low income.
Okay. What is something that they usually purchase, for example, in Taiwan that really, classifies them as lower class? So, for example, in the USA, at convenience stores, there are specific drinks that mainly poor people will buy more than higher class would. So, a specific example are like alcoholic drinks called 40s.
40,
Yeah.
like the number?
Yeah, 40s.
Okay.
And it's because it's 40 ounces of alcohol. So it's very big. It's almost as like a
Alcohol?
Yeah, it's more than a liter of alcohol. And you can buy them for very cheap. I think like $2 or $3. So like almost 90 Taiwanese dollars for that much alcohol.
Is it healthy?
I mean, it's cheaper version of alcohol, so it's it has more calories. It's
I see.
it doesn't have more alcohol, but it's just it's a lot, and it goes bad really easily. So people, if they buy it, they're planning on drinking the whole thing in one day, that kind of style. So that's a thing that you can definitely classify people. Either college students or poor people buy these things. Okay,
I see, I see.
and there's other alcoholic drinks that are really cheap that no one buys except for lower class people, just because they're not good quality.
Which is?
Oh, just canned alcohol that is really high in percentage. There's one company called Four Loko, and Four Loko is it's not famous with high class people. It's more for partying or people who want to get drunk really quick. And most poor people who are on the streets, you can see commonly them drinking that because it's easy to get.
For the lower class people in Taiwan, there was no certain things they will buy, but where they buy things.
Where they buy things.
Yeah, they will usually go to like traditional markets. Because you've been to Taiwan's traditional markets, right? There will be like a section for vegetables, sections for meat. It will be, when you go to the back, there will be a section for clothing, bags, things like this.
Sure.
So those are the places they usually go buy because they can get like really cheap price, like 100 Taiwanese dollar for 2 bags.
Wow, that is very
things
cheap.
like this. Yeah. That's...
So for us, it's more about going to the right donation places when it comes to anything. So we'll have like soup stations where poor people can go and get a free meal.
Yeah.
And at those places as well. Usually they're called missions, and those missions are run by churches or religious groups. And they can go get clothes as well, or have a place to stay for a night or something like that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, this is mainly homeless people. People of lower class, specifically in the USA, are a variety of bunch because the United States is very expensive to live in.
Yeah.
And so there's a humongous working class. So you'll see a variety. And in fact, I think we have 3 different levels of the lower class and middle class.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, like the lowest class is, homeless or people with no jobs, unemployed.
Okay.
And so we already kind of classified them. So I'm going to go on to the next one. Then we have lower class, and lower class is people who work at places like any labor job, McDonald's, or working as a janitor, cleaning like buildings, stuff like this. And then it gets to the upper class of the lower class, and then these people are doing. Unfortunately, these people, even though they're doing good work, they're not getting paid a lot. So, like teachers who are not in university level, so like maybe high school or middle school, like they're making a decent salary where they get like health insurance, or they work at an office. But they don't get enough money to like save or really make any substantial impact, for their kids or stuff like that. It's really a shame. But and then we get into the middle class, and the middle class is kind of like the expanding part of the United States. This part of capitalism, like before, the middle class was one of the smallest, but now it's becoming more. It's growing, because a lot of entrepreneurs like ourselves. And people who do other kinds of work, like higher levels of business, maybe starting their own company or working with as a contractor, this kind of stuff. And so this class has been expanding more. And then you have your upper class, of course, and we know who they are. Basically, CEOs, doctors, people who run their own companies. The people who either are old rich, and
Yeah,
old
yeah.
rich are, people who have had rich families for a long time. So for example, Ford, the car company, was invented by a guy named Henry Ford. And now all of his relatives are
Offsprings.
they got their own, they got everything because of Henry Ford. They never have to work a day in their lives because Henry Ford created, cars. So
I sense a smell of jealous.
no, not at all.
No.
I rather work hard for my achievements.
That's okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but good for them. I'm very happy for them for having that, thanks to their great grandfather. I don't know if it's that many greats, but that's not the point. But the other point that I wanted to mention is just there's the new rich, and these people are working hard like ourselves to kind of take advantage of all the resources that they have available today. So like creating media or creating content or inventing new things that people can use. There's all this huge variety, and this is kind of where the new rich is becoming more and more popular. If you want to know more about the new rich, I recommend a fantastic book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. I'll put a link in the description down below for you to give it a read. It's very easy read, and I think it's in Chinese as well. But fantastic book about learning how anyone can technically go from whatever class you're in to this new rich category if they put in the right amount of effort.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Taiwan is, I've trying to, imagine in my brain how do I explain this, because Taiwan is a very special place. We got from like no nothing land from, no nothing land to right now. You can see riches. Yeah, what do you want to say about my country?
No, I was just going to say a Chinese word.
Say it.
鸟不生蛋的地方.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It's
Explain.
like a no man's land.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Just testing you in Chinese. Did a good job.
鸟不生蛋的地方.
Yes, from 鸟不生蛋的地方 to like right now, wherever you go, you can see like tall buildings, everything, those kind of fancy things in a very short period of time compared to other countries.
Yeah, the development was incredible.
Incredibly,
Fast.
Yes, when I was a kid, my parents, they live in the area right now is in Taichung, near the, what is that thing? MRT stations.
Yeah, the newly built one, right?
Yes, and before, when I was a kid, there's nothing there. Just all rice field everywhere.
Right.
When I was a kid, I'm not that old, but when I was a kid, there was just nothing. Yeah, just the only thing there was the apartment my parents was living right now, and schools and park, basic stuff. But they come from there to here today. It's like less than 20 years. It's incredible. So there are a lot of, like I said, it was very, very rare to see poor people right now. But there are some things that you can tell. For example, like you mentioned, cars. And right now, the new rich is their job. The old rich, of course, is based on the educations they have. A long time ago, like my parents' generation, it's not so easy to get education, go to schools, things like that.
Sure.
One is because it's really expensive. So not many people can afford it.
Only the rich could go to university.
Not even university, high school.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's definitely
My
crazy.
mom's generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of kids, they have to, this kind of traditional society, like when you were graduate from senior high school, you have to start working for your family.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
And
kind
how
of
old were you? Like 18 at that time? Like not you specifically, but
No.
like anyone who graduates from high school, would that be
not high school. It's junior high school.
junior high school?
So middle school,
Wow.
around 14.
Oh my God, and they
Yeah.
start working.
Yes, that's the kind of society my parents' generation are like this. It's very general.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I say, it's really fast. So in their generation, if you can go to school, high school, even university, they consider rich family. It's either the kids come from, their parents are doctors, teachers, those kind of family. So they're all rich. It's definitely their education. And again, the whole society developed very fast, rapidly, even the schools. So there are tons of schools right now. So when the things started to be, in general, everybody can go into the university, the price will go lower.
Right.
So right now, you can go to a university that considers like the basic education level.
Right. You have to meet that standard in order to even get a good job.
Yes.
I think it's very similar with the United States.
Yeah. And so right now, education is really not the only standard to evaluate if he or she is rich or not. Right now, it's like the occupation.
Or which
their
university, right?
That also not
Really?
the things.
I agree. Like
know.
when I was a kid, like in the United States, that used to be a big deal. Like for example, Harvard or Duke, and
yeah.
if you say, "Oh, I went to Harvard," you're like, "Oh, damn," and because your family was rich and you could go there. But nowadays, these what we call Ivy League schools, these high-level schools, will accept anybody so long as they have the right grades. So if they are like a straight 4.0 student, they show potential, they have talent, they can go. Before you had to have the money.
Yeah.
But now it's more accepting to anybody with talent. So I think it's similar with Taiwan's situation, right? But you're right. If you don't have that basic standard of education,
It's
forget
really
about
hard.
getting a successful career.
Yeah. You
Right, that's
probably
kind of the
just work
standard.
for like desk
job, yeah.
in Taiwan.
That's the standard, right?
Yeah. So the new rich is your job. So of course, Taiwan is famous for our semiconductor. What is the word? Semiconductor industry.
That's right.
So
Very
engineers,
famous.
Engineers is definitely the person if you know that make high income.
Yeah.
No matter.
That's like the
what.
goal for the majority of Taiwanese, right? Is to work
Yes.
somewhere as an engineer or a doctor.
Yeah.
These are goals.
Yeah, so engineers, like Eric mentioned, doctors. And those people, tend to be super young, like, 30-ish, 40-ish. They can achieve what society so-called successful or, higher class.
That's right.
So right now the situation in Taiwan is like we have a huge gap between like I say, think about this. The lower class is very, very rare, probably like 5 to 10%. A majority of people are middle class. You and me, we do a decent job. We can feed ourselves, put the food on the table, go travel, things like this. And there was like another group, like high class, really high class. They have like all the fancy cars. We will see news. On this special brand, they only made this edition for this special type of car. There will be only 5 cars in the world, and there will be 2 in Taiwan. This kind of rich level. That's what I'm talking about.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how are those people get so rich? But there are like a huge gap between the middle class and like the upper class in Taiwan.
Right.
So there's like a huge gap, and it's not really. It's hard to tell. You cannot tell the person who is really rich by the way they dress.
Right.
Because Taiwanese people are very easygoing. They don't really.
They don't show off very much unless it's their car.
Yeah, or everybody can afford at least like 1 or 2 like fancy brand bag
like Gucci,
Chanel, whatever.
Chanel or Hermes.
Yeah, whatever. Everybody can afford it. It could be, even like the student. They will save all of their money. Maybe they will eat like 泡面 for
Ever.
forever, and they just save up the money to get a Gucci bag
Right,
or something like that.
It's very fascinating because when I will like go to, for example, a mall in the USA, you don't see all of these high class
I know, right?
brands everywhere.
I know.
You might see one, you might see a Chanel, or you might see a Hermes.
Yeah.
But they're not like sticking out like sore thumbs.
Uh-huh.
But if you go anywhere to a department store, a 百货公司 in Taiwan,
Yeah.
you're going to see at least 3 of them, no matter what. If you
Yeah.
don't see it, you would think it's weird.
Yeah, so what is
Right.
going on? Are we poor now?
And it's just like, why is there no Chanel here? I really wanted another Chanel bag. Okay.
Seriously. Like we just go out and just go buy a Chanel bag.
It's incredible. No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, no matter where, in Tainan, in Taichung, in Taipei.
Don't
like,
even mention about Taipei.
yeah.
The department store there was huge.
Oh my God. They takes up blocks.
Few
Blocks.
blocks.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just
I mean, the malls are big in USA, but it's because our land is big. But Taiwan, the land is not very big, but the department stores are humongous.
Yes, I got lost every time.
Every time. They have
Yeah,
like
I have to
maps
ask
on
them.
their maps. You know,
And
it's like,
still, I have to use my Google Maps
Yeah.
to go from A building
To
to
B
B
building, yeah.
I was like,
yeah, crossing streets.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy.
No, but it's very fascinating, like the capitalism difference. Even though we're
Definitely.
using the same economy system, but the way that Taiwan has just so risen to the top because of the type of product they provide to the
I
world,
think so, too.
semiconductors.
Yeah.
You know, it's a requirement for everything in the technology
Everything
world.
around the world.
Yeah, and so it just like made Taiwan just go from nothing to everything. It's
Seriously,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a few students, they are engineers, work for TSMC, which is like the biggest, the best
Yep.
in the world. So they were telling me that what kind of products they are doing. They are not just doing the chips for our phones. It's like everything, literally everything, like television, telephone, phone, camera,
Yep.
everything.
All the motherboards, all the SIM cards, all the cards, anything inside of a piece of technology they do.
That's
you know.
incredible.
Yeah, and all the companies need their help. So I mean, it makes sense why Taiwan went from nothing to being this country that everyone wants to say it's a country, but someone says it's not okay. But we're not going to get political here.
Say what?
So, anyways, no, it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
What else would you like to discuss with social class today, Anita?
I think that will be it. Like I think right now, when we see someone's got like really fancy car, especially if you really wanted to see some really really rare car, go to what is the street? The old Taichung people call it 中港路, but it's
中港路,
台湾大道, Taiwan Boulevard. Yeah, just go to that area. You will be able to see a lot of like car show.
This is in Taichung, right?
Yeah, it's in Taichung. So just
Right.
go there and you're just like, wow, look at that.
I love how you keep mentioning cars. Like this is the
Because that's the only like the things you can really tell. Oh, it's like really rich.
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. Well, okay, I think that's a very interesting episode. Thank you so much for sharing your points of view.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we hope you enjoyed this episode today. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and also check out Taiwanica on buymeacoffee.com. We have a lot of really funny episodes.
Really funny, dude.
And interesting and also deep episodes there that I think you would definitely enjoy. And lastly, our Instagram is about to get very popular with some new information that we think you'll also like. So make sure you follow us there as well.
That's right.
And if you like listening on YouTube, we're there too. So
Yeah.
make sure to subscribe. All right. Thanks, Anita.
Thanks, Eric.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.